My name is Andrew Bodden, and I am the Director of Business Development with Farms.com. I've been with Farms.com for almost 15 years and started our Precision Ag conferences about 8 years ago. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsors for this event, Olds College, Zarvio Digital Farming Solutions, and Climate Field View. If you have any questions during this session, please ask them in the Q&A section, which will be found at the bottom of your screen. Also wanted to let you know if you missed the 101 presentation last week, but you are registered for this one, we will be sending an email link so you can see both the 101 and the 201 presentations. So it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Alex Melnitchouck and Dr. Rex Soon, who will be presenting our Precision Ag 201 session today. Dr. Rex Soon is currently an assistant professor at the Department of Agriculture and Biosystems Engineering of North Dakota State University. Dr. Soon's research focus is on artificial intelligence and robotic technologies in precision agriculture. Dr. Alex Melnitchouck is Chief Technology Officer for Digital Ag at the Olds College. Alex's area of expertise encompasses various aspects of spatial data management and analysis in agriculture and environmental, including aerial and satellite imagery, soil and yield data, prescription, and as applied files. Today's Precision Ag 201 will be led by Dr. Sun and will focus on artificial intelligence applications in precision ag. Please welcome Dr. Alex Melnitchouck and Dr. Rex Sun.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you. I want to take this opportunity. Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Farms.com, give me this opportunity, give me and Alex this great opportunity to present our research and to present a little bit information about precision agriculture technology, the current status to everyone. So let me share my screen here. We can get started. Can you guys see my screen well? And changing the slides. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about artificial intelligence applications in precision agriculture. Like Andrew said, my role in North Dakota State University is assistant professor in the Department of Agriculture and Biosystem Engineering department, and I'm also serve as the Precision Ag Program Coordinator and a Curriculum Committee Chair. So before I talk about the title today, Artificial Intelligence, I want to give a couple slides and introduce our Precision Agriculture program here in the North Dakota State University. So our Precision Agriculture program here at the North Dakota State University is first launched in January 2019. And we are proud to say we are one of the only 2 land-grant universities in the United States nationwide who offer a precision agriculture major, a degree to the student. You know, lots of institutions and land-grant universities, they have precision agriculture research program, but they don't have a degree, and that they cannot issue a degree to the 4-year students. But we are proud to say we are one of the only 2 land-grant universities who is doing that. So our precision agriculture research actually exists for a long time, and recently in the Precision Ag Area magazine around the world, and we are listed as the number 18 of the 25 best university who are offering this precision agriculture research. So lots of going on in our precision agriculture program here at North Dakota State University. And again, for the class size, I want to give you an update on that. Our NDSU Precision Ag Research class enrollment, we officially launched this program in the spring of 2019. I was teaching this Precision Agriculture 215, mapping of precision agriculture data. The first year, we have 7 students. And by the time of the second year, this 2020 spring, when I'm teaching this class again, I have 17 students. When I was first teaching this in the 2019, in the fall, about the introduction to precision agriculture, I have 26 students sitting in my class. When I'm teaching right now in the fall 2020, I have 47 students sitting in my class. The 47 students, the reason why I have a 47 students is because of COVID-19, I set my class limit to 47 students. I know at least that there are 3 students waiting outside to join my class in the introduction to precision agriculture. I show you this map just to show you how much interest out there for the students who are interested in precision agriculture technology right now. So another thing is also we have a precision agriculture club as developed in the 2019, and right now we have around 16 students enrolled in this precision ag club. So back to our topic. So today I'm going to talk about artificial intelligence in precision agriculture. Like Andrew said, my research focus using artificial intelligence and robotics in precision agriculture. I'm a true believer. I think artificial intelligence will change every industry, including agriculture. And no matter what, artificial intelligence, I think, is already changing industries like car business, medical, predict cancer. So lots of other examples, including in the Wall Street, they are trying to using machine learning and artificial intelligence to predict the stock price in the future. So I'm not going to give lots of examples today how artificial intelligence works in other industries. I'm focused in precision agriculture, okay? And but first, I want to talk about a little bit what is artificial intelligence. So I bet if I ask every one of you who is listening to my presentation right now, each of you might give me a different answer about artificial intelligence. That's because I think, like this picture shows us, artificial intelligence, when we talk about artificial intelligence, it's a combination of all different technologies together. I think when we talk about AI, it involves with automation, involved with deep learning, big data, virtual, all this different. My understanding, my perspective of artificial intelligence is literally combine all the technology together and provide us a better result. So this is what I think the artificial intelligence basics. Okay, I'm literally talking about this earlier this morning at my introduction to precision agriculture class. My understanding, when this is the way I teach my students in the class to explain them what is artificial intelligence, is basically include 3 important modules: input, processor, and output. The artificial intelligence, why we call that artificial, is because we want to manually create a simulation of how our human beings processing all those different informations. And to deliver a simple explanation to you guys, to help you guys understand artificial intelligence is totally not complicated. This is the main part: input, processor, and then output. So when we talk about input, just like our human beings, we have a 5 senses, right? Eye, ear, nose, mouth, and touch. All this is how we process things. For example, if I want to recognize a student in my class, first I need to see him, right? I need to get some information about the student, whether it's the student's name, student's gender, student's height. All those are can be translated to different features. And then using my eyeballs to acquire those different features image, and then input to my brain. And my mind will process, this is a processor in my mind, and then process those different features. Okay, I can separate, my student 1 and student 2 by recognize those different features, right? The same thing artificial intelligence is doing. When we have this 5 different sense, we can collect the information, collect the data, and then serve as an input to this artificial intelligence processor, which we can, which I will talk about a little bit later. But this 5 different sense, we, using artificial intelligence is exactly like how can we manually using computer to simulate our humans this 5 sense. For example, give you an example, eyes. We call that in the computer world, we call the computer vision system. Just using computer vision system to simulate and artificial simulate our human eyeballs. And of course, computer vision area have a different system. We have color imaging, we have near infrared, we have hyperspectral imaging, multispectral imaging, 3D imaging, X-ray. We also have gamma ray. It all depends on this wavelength called electrical magnetic wavelengths. And according to this different wavelength, we not only can create this color imaging system like simulate our eyeball, we can also create computer vision system using different cameras, detect those different wavelengths that our human eyeball cannot see, like X-ray imaging system, right? So after we collect, that's just one example. Also for the nose, we have artificial nose sensors, and touch, like in the yield monitoring, we have impact plate to detect the yield. That's a touching sensor. So we have different sensors to acquire different data as an input for artificial intelligence. Now, in the center, the processor, okay, that's where the real magic happens. The collecting data is just that we have using different technologies, drones, satellites to collect the imagery or sound signals or smell signals or yield signal. All that different signals, we collected the data, and then if we input this middle part, we call that a processor, right? And then right now there is a popular area called machine learning technology. What is machine learning? It's basically we give the computer the ability to learn, okay? And in this machine learning area, we have 2 different format of the data. One is called supervised learning, and the other one we call unsupervised learning. What is supervised learning is, for example, I have a cup right here, and I want a computer recognize this cup. So I need to take some pictures of this cup to input to the artificial intelligence, input to the computer to let computer recognize this as a cup, right? By doing that, I will take a picture of this cup, and then I will label this picture as a yellow cup. When I label that, that's called a supervised learning. So by giving the computer a label, what is that? A name of the object, that's called a supervised learning. Unsupervised learning is, I just take a bunch of pictures of this cup and I just give to the computer without label this one and without tell computers what is this. And instead, we'll let the computer learn by himself and tell us what is that. So that's an unsupervised learning. So we have these 2 major ways to let the machine learn. And another thing, this is a typical how either our human beings process those data or artificial intelligence, the processor, how process those data. First, we input some training data, which is this bunch of this yellow cups pictures, right? Whether it's labeled or unlabeled. supervised learning or unsupervised learning. We input this training data, lots of pictures of this cow, and then we need to extract some features to let the computer recognize this object. For example, this cow, how can we recognize this cow? Color could be a feature, right? Shape could be a feature, right? So whether it's color or shape or physical texture features, there is a method we need to select the useful features to let the computer recognize, okay, by recognize colors, I know this is a cup, this is a yellow cup. So by doing that, we call that a feature selection. After select the useful features, we input this feature to a model, and that model is the key role of artificial intelligence. By establish this model, and then, okay, the computer will say, now I have this model. I'm ready to recognize cups. And then we grab another yellow cup, take a picture without telling computers what is this, and just input this model. And the computer will say, okay, I have a model waiting there to recognize cups. And then right now you input the testing data, which is the new unknown pictures or whatever the signals, input this data model, and this model will hopefully recognize this object right away to tell us a result. So that's the key processing in artificial intelligence inside that process. Then one more step, let's talk about this model. We call that learning algorithms. This learning algorithm, that's where we in the deep bottom of this artificial intelligence. This is decide whether this artificial intelligence works or not. We have a lot of different models. I just give you 5 examples. Decision tree learning, artificial neural networks, support vector machine. That's one of my PhD theses are focused on, support vector machine 9 years ago. Now it's a little not popular, and the clustering genetics method. The last one is deep learning, which is so popular right now. Everybody in artificial intelligence, in machine learning, was talking about this algorithm, deep learning technology. Today, I'm not going to explain what is deep learning, what is support vector machine models to you, okay? I'll just give you one simple example, a simple picture to explain what is deep learning do. Simply, normally, when we process this neural network, using neural network model to process data, we only have one layer to process this input. This could be a yellow cup, this could be a keyboard, this could be a different object anyway. And then we only have one layer to process those different features, okay? That's a simple neural network. By deep learning neural network is we have different layers. We process this one features using this hidden layer, and then we have another hidden layer waiting there to process that again. And then we have another layer waiting to process those different layers. That by doing that can significantly increase our prediction result. So that's a simple way to put a deep learning. I mean, if we want to talk about deep learning, the university is offering a whole semester class just to talk about deep learning. So I'm not going to talk about today. Okay, that's the main. Remember, we have 3 parts: input, processor, and output artificial intelligence in artificial intelligence theory, right? So the last part is output. And this part is normally the people will ignore, but I would say this part is as important as the processor and the input. We call some area we call the data visualization. A data visualization, I think, is very important as well. You did a lot of research. You did a lot of artificial intelligence work, right? If you cannot present that well to the others, I don't think that will be valuable, especially precision agriculture. You did lots of models, you did lots of prediction, but farmers, they want a result. If we cannot present a very easy read or easier, how to say that? it's an easier way to present the result to the farmers. I think that's will be somehow useless. So I think data visualization is also a huge trend in the future for artificial intelligence. And this is another popular area as well. Right now, I'm working with Microsoft and with their some product to make this output, a data visualization, a better platform for the farmers. So the farmers can see our research results very clear and very user-friendly. I would say that. After we talk about artificial intelligence, some basic theories, let me introduce you applications in artificial intelligence in precision agriculture. What I'm going to present you today, every project I'm presenting you is under my research group. It's not some project I found from Google or from the other website. Every one of this project is ongoing research project in my group. So first, AI in crop production. At NDSU, in my group, we're very lucky. When we launched our precision agriculture program, we got a USDA funded project of 5 years, little bit over $4 million to conduct this research in precision agriculture. And we have, of course, we have different objectives. The objective I'm in charge of is using artificial intelligence in weed identification. I'm going to show you one. This is project I won, weed identification using AI. I'm going to show you one videos, and I hope you can see this video. This video I was literally using my cheap Android phone, $300 Android phone. I'm taking pictures this in my greenhouse, and by using this artificial intelligence algorithms, I can recognize this 5 different weed species which I'm growing in the greenhouse to recognize them. As you can see in this GIF picture, the recognize of the different species using artificial intelligence algorithm is pretty accurate. So some of you might ask me, why are you using this? What's next? So my idea here is, okay, I have this algorithm can recognize this weed species. Next, I'm going to build a robotic system, or I can give this signal right to the sprayer. The sprayer can target spray, and by saving a huge cost for the herbicide usage for the farmers. And one thing you probably, if you're a farmer, probably you already see this. Dr. Rex, this probably is the weed is a little bit big. If that by the time if we can recognize this big of the weed in my field, probably it's already useless. I want to spray the weed when they are very small. So I also thought about that situation. So what I did is one solution, I'm using different color pictures. I using different computer vision systems like RGB. I'm also acquire some thermal imaging. Also, I have in my lab, I have a hyperspectral imaging. By collecting this different format of imagery of the weed species, hopefully, when they are little, some species looks very the same. Okay, we cannot see from the color picture, but what about thermal? What about hyperspectral imaging? By using other format of imaging technology, hopefully we can recognize those different species. So we can input these features to the artificial intelligence algorithm, so the AI can recognize them in real time. So under this project, in 2019, I'm growing 5 different species. The species information is under here. 5 different species. I collected about over 2,000 pictures of in the greenhouse. And then in 2020, I realized we need to grow more weed species. Also, we need to collect way more pictures to train my model in artificial intelligence. So in 2020, I grow 6 species. That's just the weed, but also we are growing corn, flax, soybean, different edible beans as well in the greenhouse. So we can recognize the weed out of the different grain species in the field. So that's what I'm doing. Why, some of you probably ask me why I'm collecting over 1 million pictures. Well, in artificial intelligence, just like our human beings, if I need to remember, let's say, Farmers.com, director Andrew, if I only met him once, that's only from my eyeball, only take one picture, right? Probably next day I already forgot about his name. But what if you give me 1 million picture of Andrew? I guarantee you I can remember his name forever, right? So the same thing like the wheat species. I want to collect as many pictures as I can to train my artificial intelligence model, especially in deep learning model. So the artificial AI model can recognize those different wheat species more accurately. Next, I'm going to show you a video. This is the experiment I did in the field using artificial intelligence between the row in cornfield. As you can see, in the cornfield, okay, in the middle, I'm manually transplant some weed species in the between the row. This is only step one. My step one is recognize the corn and also recognize the weed between them using our AI technology. As you can see, my AI algorithm can recognize the weed fairly good, okay, between the corn row, and it can recognize corn very good. So what's next? After recognize this, I can give the signal right back to my sprayer or to my robotic platform. So my robotic platform can spray this whatever inside of in this yellow box and spray my herbicide there. Another next step will be recognize different weed species as well. Now I'm recognized whenever, okay, this is a weed. Okay, next step will be what kind of weed is this? So step by step, I'm doing this in my group using AI. This is, remember I talked about robotics platform, and in my group we developed a different version of robotics, and this version we call that weed bot. So basically we are installed a different camera system on this robotic platform, and then hopefully we can reduce some labor work, and we just drive this robotics platform in the field, recognize those, like the video I showed you in the last slide, recognize those weed species, and then somehow I will attach a tag on this robotic platform, and then just spray them right there, real time. So this is a video I want to show you. This is our weed bot, and testing in our field. This is the first day our weed bot is do a driving test in the field. I hopefully using this weed bot we can acquire more pictures to my AI algorithm to spot the weed and spray them. A project two, I'm using AI in the plant health monitoring. And this is a drone system. We are, this company in California donated this drone system to us. This is literally one of my favorite drone system. And I have a video to show. This drone can take off like a rocket. And then by reach to the certain height, it will change to a fixed wing drone to fly using the fixed wings. And this drone can give us an NDVI picture like Alex was talking about Precision Ag 101. And I'm not going to explain what is NDVI to you, but here is this drone's sample imagery. This imagery this is a farmer in Minnesota. I'm collaborating with him, And I took a test flight right next to his house here. And after acquiring this, let's take a closer look here. After taking the NDVI picture, I showed this picture to him, and he was amazed. He said, "This is cool." And I was telling him what's going on in the bottom right area, and he said, "Oh, I know that spot." He knows his field very well, and he said that spot's always a problem. What if we can input this NDVI picture to the artificial intelligence algorithm, so let our AI tell us what spot is bad, what spot is medium bad, what spot is really good for growing your crops. So that's my another project is doing right now. So another thing we are doing is using UAV system with AI algorithm in weed management. In my group, I have a different drone system. Like on the left, it's M600 DJI company attached with a different multispectral band. And I have a graduate student just defended his research on this. Actually, we are using this sensors to detect successful and resistant weed in the field. On the right, I bought this DJI MG1, which is a spray drone. So hopefully we can using some spray technology using drone to fly to the northwest corner because I found a spot, a weed spot there. Instead of spray the whole field, I just send this drone out there and spray there, right, to target spray that spot. So here is unpublished research result, and we already found some promising results using multispectral imaging with AI algorithm to recognize the resistant and susceptible weed in the field. So besides crop research, I'm also using AI algorithm in livestock production, okay? And this is a picture I found from Google. They are using the face recognition in dairy cow. But this video, I was taking this using my phone. So at here, I'm in North Dakota State University. We have a beef research unit here. So I was just walking there, walk around using my phone, took a video, and then came back, processed those video pictures. And here is the picture, here's the video I got. By not recognize the air tag, recognize those face, beef cattle head shapes or head color shapes or head textures. Using artificial intelligence with deep learning technology, I can recognize different beef cattle ID, air tag ID, real time. So I talked to a beef cattle research unit manager. I said, do you see this have some benefit to your cattle management? And he told me, Rex, this could be an interesting project for me because every morning when I do the chores, when I feed the cattle, I want to know which cattle is not coming here to eat their breakfast. And if you can somehow attach a camera to detect those different beef cattle IDs, that can give me a real-time information which cattle is not coming here to eating. So there must be have some potential issues with that cattle. So that's one potential application. Another thing is I'm using a thermal imaging technology to identify the beef cattle early stage respiratory disease. I mean, respiratory disease, when we talk about respiratory disease, I mean, right now we are humans, the COVID-19 is respiratory disease, right? Normally we will have what? Have fevers. If the cattle have fevers, and then I'm exploring this, if I can using this thermal device to detect the fever, and then input this picture to my AI algorithm, so we can recognize the early stage of this respiratory disease. So we can give this information to the ranchers. The ranchers can treat those cattle earlier instead of losing the cattle in the end. So that's one ongoing project I'm doing right now. This also, I'm acquired this whole body thermal pictures from the cattle. So hopefully it can give us some kind of information as well. Another research I'm trying to do some preliminary research is using drone technology to inventory beef cattle. So sometimes, the ranchers want to inventory their cattle, right? How about we are using drone technology to do that? So I just took my drone out. That Quantix drone I just show you, can launch like a rocket. I took that drone out in our one of our NDSU experiment station, which they have cattle there. So I took off this drone, flying at 150 feet. One thing I want to report to you guys is when we fly 100 feet using drones, the cattle didn't even sense there is a drone above me flying. They are just doing whatever they continue doing. And I also flew a Phantom 4 50 feet above. That did bother them, some of them, and some of them are scared and ran away. But as long as you run multiple times and they get used to it, and they just keep doing whatever they are doing. But at this case, I'm flying 150 feet, okay? So after that, I'm using my imaging process method. I did the counting right there, okay? But if some of you, if you look very closely, probably you already saw one problem is look at the number 14 here. Actually, that's a two cattle. That's a mama cattle and a daughter cattle right there standing next to each other, okay? But my imaging analyze method recognized as one cattle. So how can we using this AI algorithm and imaging processing method to recognize those cattle stand together? That could be my next thing to do. It could be a very difficult path to do, but I'm still working with my students together to figure out how can maybe we recognize the head directions or shape, or some steps we still need to try to figure out in order to get this beef cattle inventory research worked using UAV system. So that's some of my applications in the precision agriculture using AI technology. And I want to mention one thing is what's next. And I think, like I said before, artificial intelligence, I think it's a very promising method in the future, not only in other industry, also in agriculture industry. And right now, we already have so many startup companies and so many institutions, so many universities, they are trying to using machine learning and artificial intelligence in agriculture. I think that's a great thing. And I think that's the right way. And next thing, I think is we have some steps to do. One thing is IoT in smart farming. I think the device will eventually get smaller and smaller and then connect them together. I think Internet of Things will play a very important role in precision agriculture. Another thing is robotics. And I think especially for small farming, to reduce the labor cost, also the big operators as well, especially for bigger and bigger operator. Right now, we already, because of this agriculture machinery, 2,000 acres farm, we only need a father and a son to operate that, right? So, but in the future, the farmer will get bigger and bigger. And how can we using robotic technology in this working with AI? And I think that's another big trend. A third one will be the cloud computing. I truly believe in AI. cloud computing will be the next thing. Why I'm saying that? Because like I'm doing in the collecting the weed species, right, in the greenhouse and the field, I'm collecting 1 million pictures. Think about how much computing power I need to process those 1 million pictures. I mean, I'm talking about the small weed, and they looks very similar. I'm not talking about black black color and the white color. If AI can separate them, of course AI have algorithm already to separate them. I'm talking about a very small difference between horseweed and ragweed. Very small features. Some they look all the same when they are 1 inch tall. How can we using tons of 2 million pictures or 3 million pictures to recognize those different species? I think cloud computing will be a future way to do that. And that's, I think the future farming involved with AI looks like. But another thing is, I put this slide in the end. I think the key in precision agriculture is always come down to one thing, is this. Rex, you talk about all this fancy cameras, sensors, drones, can launch like a rocket, and artificial intelligence, cloud computing, robotics, all these different things. If I'm a farmer, I will ask Rex one question is, can this translate to money to me? If that cannot translate money to my farming operations, I would stick where I was, at least that's producing some money to me. So I think the key in precision agriculture is, can we using this technology produce or saving cost for farmers? And I think some of them, the technology like a variable rate and target spray already proved that we can save tons of money for the farmers. And some of them are still under the way, but I believe using technology will help farmers to save money or produce benefit in the future. That's for sure. And that's the future direction as well. And just to look at my class enrollment, you will see how the next generation of farmers, how much interest they are involved in this precision agriculture field. So I think that's about it for today's presentation for me. And if you have any questions, and feel free to ask. Also, I linked my email here. So if you want to get more research collaborations, any questions about AI, robotics in precision agriculture, I would be happy to discuss this with you. I cannot guarantee you answer you every question, but I'm happy to discuss this project or some future collaboration with you. So with that, I will give back to Andrew, and thank you so much for having me here again. Alex, if you want to follow up, please. And Andrew, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Sun. Really appreciate it, your presentation today. And I hope that everyone that was registered for this got some really good value from both the 101 and the 201. I want you to remind you that kind of the reason why we started this is to make sure that people were getting the basics, because as a company, Farms.com, and committed to technology and helping the farmer. Our Precision Ag Conference we started 8 years ago, and we want to make sure that people have the basics so then they can join into our Precision Ag Conference. It starts next week, and we have over 50 presenters, over 45 companies that will be talking at our conference next week. So if you're interested in registering for that, you can go to farms.com/VPAG. That's farms.com/VAPG. And before we get started to questions, we've got quite a few lined up here, but I think Alex wanted to say a few words before we get to questions and answers.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. I was pretty quiet today. Today was not my show, it was Rex's show, and I think that was done very well. I think it was very logical to go from the basics of precision ag during the last session to move to the basics of and very practical examples. I think that was just awesome, and I learned a lot myself. So. You know, of course, it's very interesting to see that many of the things presented today, they have been discussed or dreamt by many ag specialists, and today we're all working on them in parallel on different farms. In particular, we're doing the stuff on the smart farm at Olds College, such as monitoring livestock using AI or identifying certain problems in the field. So it's really good to see where the industry is moving. So I'm dreaming about that day when AI will be widely used in agriculture, and there are some really interesting challenges that would be really interesting in working on, maybe together with some of the participants. Like, for example, in many cases when we talk about AI, in many cases everything is narrowed down to identifying objects. Like, for example, identifying weeds or identifying insects, diseases. In precision ag, however, in many cases, we analyze intrinsic variability of separate objects. Like, for example, a field just by itself, it's an object, but the intrinsic properties, they're changing across the field. And that's way more challenging than just identifying separate objects. And of course, to be able to move that part of technology forward, we need reliable and huge training data sets. And that's one of the things, again, we're working on the smart farm. So like overall, I was pretty excited about all these new opportunities. They're almost unlimited. And I would like to keep this conversation moving forward. Like last time, I just want to say, please feel free to connect with me and my colleagues. I see some of them. They're here among the audience. Connect with us on LinkedIn. And of course, I would like to keep this conversation going with Rex as well. Maybe we can come up with collaboration. So, Andrew, thanks again for putting that together. I think very well organized, very logically set up. Thank you. And happy birthday to everybody.
That's perfect. Thanks, Alex and Rex. It would be interesting to keep this going, maybe as a regular session. A monthly or bi-monthly thing where you guys can continue to share your developments in precision agriculture, because obviously some of the leaders in the industry, and I think everyone here has gotten some good value out of it. We'll get to questions now, and we're going to start with the first one. What is the biggest policy challenges for government and farm organizations in precision ag sector? For example, is data privacy transparency an issue, farmer capacity to use skilled workers on the tech side, etc.? So you guys can both tackle that one, if that's okay.
Well, first, I would like to say a couple of sentences. Great question. Thank you, Peter. And I think the government for precision agriculture, the policy changes are from my experience here is next week, I'm going to be on the USDA NIFA review panel. And USDA, they just, I got the sense is they want to support the farmers using technology as well. They are encourage the researchers and the companies to submit their proposals, especially in precision agriculture, in engineering, to help farmers in the farming business. So I think the challenges, I would leave that question, leave that answer to Alex. But I think from the government, we have a huge support for this precision agriculture area. And for the data transparency, that's a very good question, because I went to this whether it's a conference or a farmers producers summit, some conference. One important issue always raised up is, I'm a farmer, I own my data, why I should share my data to you? So that's a privacy of the data could be a very challenging for the precision agriculture, especially for the researchers. They want to analyze. The way I do this is with the local farmers is I have the technology. Basically, I'm partnership with them. And how about you let me fly my drones on your farm, and then I can analyze those different pictures. As a result, I give you that information for free. Normally, those pictures, they need to pay for the farming consulting company to do that. So I guess that's my perspective of working with farmers. And I don't know, Alex, you want to follow up? You want to?
Yeah, sure. I think, yeah, that's a great and very important question. I would say the answer would depend on the market, because every region has certain challenges, and sometimes they're quite different. So in precision ag, of course, in many areas, for example, in the European market, there are many regulatory restrictions where precision ag helps. Like, for example, if you cannot apply crop protection products or fertilizers in certain areas, so you can relatively easily automate that and make sure that you have both technological solution for that, and you have a proof that that you didn't breach the policy, or you didn't breach the law. In terms of data privacy, yeah, there. Again, it depends on the market. In some areas, people, they're more paranoid about that. In some cases, they take it easy. But in general, yeah, there are many discussions, and there is no simple answer. I would probably answer about the data privacy and transparency. I will just quote one of the leading edge growers from Canada. He said, "Oh, I keep hearing what exactly a company like John Deere is going to do with my data if they see it." He said, "I'm going to tell you what they are going to do. They will build a better tractor." So, well, of course, there are certain confidentiality aspects, but I think the industry over the time will be able to find the right answer to that.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. I think the next question is actually for Rex directly, and it was when you were talking about doing your identification of weeds. It's 2020 species. How small were the weeds? I guess that is, how accurate can you be with smaller weeds? Obviously, when you started, larger sizes were easily identified, but that doesn't really help out when you're trying to manage weeds. So how small, how accurate can you get, and how smaller can they be?
Thank you for the question. I have the right answer right here. So exactly, when we recognize weed, we want to recognize them when very small. So in my experiments, I grow my weed species from germinate to 5 inch. I want to kill any weed. I want to recognize any weed below 5 inch. Above 5 inch, I see it's not useful anymore. So I collect every growing stage, 0 to 5 inch.
Okay. That's great. So that kind of gives you an idea. I think it was Ike that was asking that. It's really about getting that identification early, and as more research is done from Dr. Sun and other people, that database will get bigger, and I think we'll get more weeds identified as well. So that's encouraging for everybody. And then you use the AI to just manage that properly. Next question. What, in your opinion, will be the first successful commercial application of AI use in operational situations? Will it be in the sprayer application, greenhouse technology, or is it another area that will be ahead of others using AI technology in agriculture? I think there might be some stuff already being used, but let you guys both tackle that.
Yeah, actually, I think we can announce the company name. Actually, in California, there's a company called Blue River, and they are using AI to recognize weed. And John Deere just bought the company and spent lots of cash dollars there, and it's already in operational. And they claim they can recognize the weed in the field to target spray. Really good, but at the same time, they're trying to keep this low profile as best as they can. So I don't know, maybe they are still developing in the California, but they do have some applications out there, or the commercialized already. And will be the greenhouse technique picking? Yes, I mean AI. In agriculture in California, give you one perfect example: strawberry picking. They are using the cameras and to pick up the strawberries in the greenhouse. It's all robotics already, and they have that's the U.S. In Europe, this another in the Europe, North Europe, they have lots of AI applications in the vegetables, in fruits, picking, apple picking, lots of different commercial applications already. Yeah.
Yeah, I think basically short phrase. I think, Rex, you already answered that. I would probably just add it depends if the AI technology is about identifying objects, like for example, in packaging industry, when you need to sort fruits or vegetables, if you want to, like you said about picking fruits or identify weeds. So those technologies, they're already used widely in different countries. If it's going to be about analyzing field variability and site-specific field management, that will be a way longer process, and I think will take at least a few years until we'll see the first real commercial application.
Perfect. This is just from the chat, and I think Rex, this is when you were showing your overhead drone technology of identifying the livestock. But I'm not sure exactly what the question is. It's cow clusters versus forage quality. So do you understand that, or does that make sense to you, or is that?
Assuming he is talking about the imagery, pixel, cluster processing, and imaging quality stuff. From a GIS standpoint. Well, if I understand the question right, using drones to analyze okay, let me rephrase that. So using drones with AI, there is some challenge in there, and I'm not going to lie there. Using AI with drones, one thing is imagery quality, how high you need to fly. Another thing is, how can you process those imagery in real time? I think that's a real challenge. That's why I'm really into this cloud computing and increase broadband, because using AI algorithm with unless you put your AI model on the drone with drone flying together. Otherwise, if you want to transport that imagery clusters and all that data to your local computer, you're going to need some really. Actually, I just submitted a proposal used to USDA to focus on real-time transport data through drone, and that could be a challenge for that. I guess I answered that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Okay, so the next question is from John, a little bit more technically focused. Support vector machines and neural network processes have just drastically different training data requirements. Neural nets are trendy, but is there an economic advantage?
Yes, John, thank you for that question. You are right. For training data requirement, SVM not require as many as neural networks. The neural net economic advantage, I guess the way I think here is for deep learning, for neural networks, you need a lot of training data. And now we don't have, at least from my knowledge, we don't have a good way to label all those imagery unless other than manually label them. That could be a challenging for regards to economic economic perspective, because I'm literally just hire students to label all those pictures to train my model. And that could cost some, cost me some funding. Same way with big companies. I mean, in the industry, Microsoft's doing the same. And the lucky for us is there are some big companies, they release some existing model for free. And there's tons of algorithm out there for free. And from some big companies already existing. So right now I'm exploring, can we using that existing model with some modification in precision agriculture can apply that higher accuracy to increase some economic sense. So I guess that's my answer. That do have some economic advantage through using those free source out there on the internet, especially in the neural network industry. So I guess that's my answer.
Alex, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I'm not an expert in neural networks, so I don't want to speculate. Like if you have any questions about site-specific management or anything about those technologies, I would be happy to, but the expert.
Okay, perfect. So next question, we're living in North America. Most of our audiences here is from Canada and the US, but there is a question in developing these technologies, these precision ag technologies, are they being developed for the African farmer? Is that being considered, or in increasing their food security? Food security is obviously an issue globally. But do you look at specific countries when you're developing some of your projects, or are you focused on the Canadian market, the US market? Obviously, as you said earlier, Rex, the European market's a little different. There's a lot of development in precision ag in New Zealand, in a small country, but they're still developing a lot there. What's your focus, and is there a kind of is there a group that focuses on the African market and helping them?
Right now, my short answer is not yet. I do met a startup company, and he is interested in using some drone technology in Africa. Through a conference, I met this person, and I think he's a CEO to do that. But right now, I don't have any research or collaborations in Africa yet. My research are in AI and robotics, mainly focused in North America, especially in the US.
Okay, and Alex, you've done stuff around the world, projects around the world. So is there anything that you've seen on the?
Yeah. Like I said, the agricultural market compared to, for example, if you look at the agriculture compared to the cell phone market or any kind of movie market, agricultural market is relatively small, and at the same time it's very fragmented. So Africa is definitely considered in helping increase yield. And I can give you an example. A few years I was on the jury board. There's a European initiative called Farming by Satellite. And there were some students submitting their proposals, and we're looking at those proposals and judging them. So yes, who won that contest? It was a small startup from Kenya. It was so amazing to see how simple and at the same time how complete their proposal was, and it was just an example. I think we just need to communicate more to different markets. It's always an opportunity everywhere. And, it doesn't have to be just commercial. You just have to motivate the people to do something. And I think there are many smart people there ready to do cool stuff.
All right, guys, really appreciate it. I just got the hook, so we got to call it. But again, Alex and Rex, really appreciate your time over the last 2 weeks. I think you've really presented some great value for everyone who joined in. And again, hopefully, if you didn't get their contact information, you can reach out to me and I can connect you to both Dr. Melnitchouck and Dr. Sun. And again, if you want to join our Precision Ag Conference, which starts next week, just go to farms.com/VPAG and you can register there. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.